the more of these things that we can get rid of, then that fulfills the ideal that cryptocurrency was invented to fulfill. This is why cryptocurrency was invented. It was invented to empower the individual. It was a cypherpunk, empower the individual, get rid of the fucking evil overlord government people out of these things. That's why it was invented. And HEX does that better than any other coin in the world currently. There is no more traded coin on-chain exchange except Ethereum itself. And it's funny to see Ethereum trying to copy things from HEX now. People don't realize Ethereum is trying to do staking. Ethereum is trying to figure out how much you have to pay people to stake. Ethereum is trying to like get their coins to be burnt on transaction fees for EIP 1559. Ethereum is trying to make it so that you can only pay transaction fees in Ethereum. You can't pay them in something else. Well, HEX is innovating in this direction. By the way, HEX has coin burning now. HEX has staking now. Ethereum is trying to catch up to us, even though we run on Ethereum. It's very funny. So we have superior game theory that they're trying to catch up with now. In HEX, you can actually send your HEX to someone else without using Ethereum. So there's something called metatransactions. And if you go to metatransact.com/HEX, you can send HEX to other people without using Ethereum. And how it works is there's a middleman that they run, a relayer that receives extra HEX from you for the fee, and then it sells it for ETH, and then it pays the ETH, right? So in effect, somebody is still paying Ethereum to do that. It doesn't always have to be that way. Like as it stands right now, because EIP 1559 isn't rolled out yet, miners could decide to accept payment and whatever they want, right? If they want a high five, and then the miner wants to roll your transaction to a block, he can do that. He can do whatever he wants. It's up to the miner. So there's other, I was in the dev chat. I won't tell the public what the HEX dev chat is because we don't want noobs in there. But if you are a developer, direct message me on Telegram, Richard Hart, and I'll tell you where the HEX dev chat is. Somebody had so I had said, I want people to be able to send HEX without touching Ethereum. And then someone just built it, and now it works. It's awesome. And I said, I'd like people to be able to use their HEX anonymously. So, let's fork this Tornado Cash thing, and, you'll be able to put HEX into a pool. And if other people do it too, nobody will know who withdrew, right? So if like 100 people put HEX into a pool and then some people pull out, nobody knows who that was, right? Well, apparently someone's built that too, or, is releasing it shortly. So I hear. So we've got metatransactions now where you can send HEX without using Ethereum, but really kind of Ethereum's still getting used. But to the end user, they don't care, right? They just had HEX and they were able to send it. So that's cool. 2, it looks like someone's working on anonymity stuff with the Tornado Cash. And so now we'll have fast, price performative, featureful, anonymous. It's like, fuck, there's nothing left. Like you really run out of, like the only thing that would be left at that point is throughput. And a lot of people are doing throughput solutions for all ERC20s that will allow you to do like any ERC20 at high speed using ZK rollups and optimistic rollups. So it's because we chose the right ecosystem with the most developers and the most aggressive roadmap and the friendliest community, as funny as that sounds, because so many people are mean to HEX. HEX didn't have to build a lot of these innovations. They were just done for us or around us because they were easy to do, right? Like the Tornado Cash already existed for Ethereum, so it would be easy to fork because it's open source to do it for HEX, right? So we chose the right ecosystem. So now people are just filling in the gaps and doing the easy things. And then at that point, you're like, well, what's left? I mean, if you've got throughput, anonymity, you don't have to touch some other token to use it. You've got price performance. You've got the world's only chart of future market supply because, we're the only chart of future, like, hey, these are the coins that can actually be sold. That's fucking amazing. Like, like there's nothing, who else has any of that shit? It's just shocking to me. Like, I'm really impressed. I didn't have to make it happen. I said, hey, this would be cool. And then the fucking community just made it happen. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like this, I'm on a 24-hour stream now. I had no idea this would be happening.
Do you mind making a comment about the off-ramp?
One in.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Can I get one? Go ahead.
I'm
I
sorry.
hope I can ask you this question, Richard. If you can't answer that, it's very fine. Do you? I don't know if you're familiar with the simulation that Kyle ran that was supposed to kind of model what returns would be over like a 10-year period. I was
Hmm.
wondering what you thought about about the potential for an initial investment that was staked over 10 years, seeing 80x returns as he outlined in his document. That if you thought that would be feasible in the Hex ecosystem going forward.
Well, those models only predicted hex outputs. So none of those models had anything to do with USD values
Right,
because,
100%. Right, right. And
yeah. So the
I don't
hex,
even want you to answer if about USD at all.
well, I mean, it's really some things in the hex system were nearly impossible to predict. So how many people are going to claim day one? Nobody had any idea. How long are people going to stake? Nobody has any idea, right? But some things we have a range, and that really tightens up the prediction space. So right now we know that there's like 184 billion or 164 billion. I can't remember which. Let's call it 184 billion for the big payday. And I know that number can only go up because it goes up with the virality bonus and it goes up with the critical mass bonus. So, and then I even, to make sure that happened, I took a screenshot like a month ago. And it's, if you go into t.me/hex crypto and type !BPD, you'll see a screenshot of, okay, well, here's what the BPD is now. And then if you look at it today, it's bigger. So it's like, okay, it used to be smaller, now it's bigger. Great. Wouldn't hurt to have a few more samples, but since I designed the system and did extensive modeling of it, I'm pretty sure the big payday only goes up. So now we have a number that is set. We know we have a number now that can only go up. Okay, that reduces ambiguity, right? It's set in stone basically. And so now who is going to receive that big payday? Well, it just gets split up over the other stakers. Okay. And how many coins you're staking right now? I think it's like 25 billion. I think. Let's go look, right?
For what is it? Coin staking?
Yeah. How many hacks are staked right now?
It's like 53 billion.
Okay, so let's call it 50. So just for rounding off, let's say that the big payday is 200 billion right now. It can only go up. And let's say there's 50 billion coins that are staked. If nobody else stakes, and if nobody else claims, and those two numbers stay the same for the next 175 days, then the average return is about 4x. So the stakers put in 50 billion hex to stake, and now they're going to get 200 dumped on them. It's a 4x on average. It's very simple math, right? So like, so in this one case, which happens to be probably like the most important case, how much is the BPD going to affect your stack? The math is actually very simple. On the homepage of go.hex.win, it says big payday. There's the number. And then if you go to hex.live or hexinfo or hex-data or any of these other sites, you can see how many coins are staked. And you just realize those staked coins are going to get that big payday, period. Now, as we get closer to that day, I think big payday is going to go up because I think more people will free claim. That'll increase the virality and critical mass bonuses. I think more people are going to stake too. And if more people stake, then that 200B is going to get spread across more people. Now, important concept. If you stake a hex for a year and another guy stakes a hex for 10 years, he's going to get more of the big payday than you because he gets more shares than you because longer pays better. So a 10-year stake gets 3x the shares that a one-day stake gets. That's a big difference. So a guy that stakes just in time for big payday, which I think you'd have to stake the 18th. I think November 18th, you'd have to start your stake, I think. But check it, right? There's a calendar on go.hex.win. So if you, because when you start your stake, it doesn't really start till the next day, right? So if you start your stake on November 18th, then it's really going to have started on November 19th. But check the math, right? Like these off by one errors in software are a real nightmare. You don't know which side of the fence post you're on. So if you're that guy and you stake just for that day to get the big payday, but some other guy stakes on that day and stakes for 10 years and delays his gratification, he's going to get 3 times as much of that big payday as you because he had 3 times as many shares as you. And there's also bigger pays better, but that's only worth 10%. So longer pays better is worth a 3x, and bigger pays better is only worth a 1.1x.
And that's only up to 3,641 days, right? It, like after that, it's just you continue on with your share price, but that's as
right.
long as you can.
So the art, I actually misunderstood this for a while, which is just hilarious that you can design a system and then it can have traits that you don't understand because of complexity. So I thought, if you stake longer than 3641 days, since that's where the bonus caps out at for longer pays better, it maxes out your 3x shares, that you'd be silly to stake longer. You'd be working for free basically. But then, Kyle pointed it out. He's like, if you didn't stake for longer, you'd have to get back in and the share price would be higher then, and then you'd end up with less shares. And because you have less shares, now you're making less because the shares are what dictates how much income in HEX your stake generates. The shares are the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter how much HEX you staked. It matters how many shares you got for doing that, right? So the most rare thing in HEX actually is the shares because it costs multiple HEX to get a share and the price only goes up. And the price will go up a lot. The share price will go up a lot on the big payday or just after the big payday because it's based on the highest ROI anyone's ever seen. And so the highest ROI anyone's going to ever seen is right after the big payday, and then the next day, the next day, the next day. But it's a huge profit input right there. And I don't think people understand how much the share price can go up that day. It could be a lot.
We were looking at some of those charts that I don't know where Ryan got them, but Ryan Lopez showed us some charts that they got, and it starts going really exponential, and then it's just a blip in the actual share price when you scroll out to 10 years because it just it's just a bigger exponential curve that's happening.
You can see that curve now. So if you go to the homepage of go.hex.win and you look at the day payout is how much profit in HEX the staker class made that day. And when the supply was lower, it was less. And now as the supply is increasing, they're getting a lot more every day. But the number of people that's staking isn't really going up much. Right. And so the profit inputs in HEX to the staker class is growing rapidly, but the number of new HEX being staked doesn't appear to be. And so those guys look like they're doing pretty well, the stakers. So absolutely nobody knows how many people will be staked for big payday, and absolutely nobody knows how long and how large it will be staked. And all of those are requirements to know what the actual big payday will be per person.
Right.
And then how much of that big payday goes to you. Are you a longer than average staker? Are you a shorter than average staker? Did you just stake for one day? Did everyone else just stake for one day? It's a very interesting system. But once again, it's very easy to ballpark it because there's 50 billion coins staked. There's 200 billion to get handed out. Okay, that's a 4-to-1 on average. Now, the longer guys are going to eat the pie of the shorter guys. The bigger guys are going to eat slightly the pie of the smaller guys. So when you're talking about modeling, it's like, it's the same other thing, right? Like emergency end stakes. When someone emergency end stakes, one, they pay penalties, sometimes large, sometimes 100% of their stack, right? Other times a third, other times 2%, right? Like it really depends on how long they were staked for and how long they served. If those guys hop out and they're not staking anymore, that amplifies the rewards to people that are still staked. So, we know that there's so I'm giving you right now, what I'm trying to do is give you the tools to ballpark these things without having to try and reference some model. So right now we know that if no one else claims and if no one else stakes, that it's about a 4-to-1 on average of big payday payouts to people that are staked. So there's 50 billion there. There's going to be 200 billion shoved on top of other stakes. That's about a 4-to-1, right? It's really, I think it might be a 5-to-1 actually. Yeah, it's a 400% gain. It's a 5x on average using those numbers. Check the math. Doing math on stream isn't that easy. So that's very easy to ballpark. So if you see twice as many people stake, okay, then your 4-to-1 average turned into 2.5-to-1 average. Okay, well, it's useful to know, right? And then we know that the big payday is only one of the profit inputs. The other profit inputs are early and late end stakes and inflation. And so 3.69 inflation is very easy to calculate. Okay, so about 25% of HEX is staked. It's like 23% last I looked, but we'll round to 25. And we know that the inflation is a maximum of 3.69. So let's call it 4. Okay, so if 100% of people were staked, then they would be getting 4% on average. Longer guys would get a lot more because the shorter guys would get less. But on average, it's about 4%. But 100% of people isn't staked. Not even 1 in 4 is staked, which makes it about 4 times more powerful, which makes it about 16% interest. Ballpark. If you stake longer and you're getting 3 times the shares, it could be 30% interest, right? So, understanding that there's a big payday number, you divide it by the coins that are staked, very easy ballpark math. Understanding that inflation is about 4%, and that's if 100% of people are staked, average ROI per staker. And then if there's only 25% staked, well, then that's 4 times larger. It's about 16%. So that's awesome. That's like really handy to know, right? So a lot of those models that people try to do, we already have real data. We don't have to make guesses. So like a big thing is like how many people are going to claim and how many people are going to stake. Well, we know exactly now. And most of that math is already done for you. So the best math in the world that I'm aware of is at go.hex.win or other websites that are similar that shows you your big payday payout on your stake, because it knows how big the big payday is. It knows how many shares there are, and it knows how many shares your stake has. And then it just divides your shares into the total shares, and whatever that percent is, it gives you of the big payday. And then it's very clear and very obvious that if this state doesn't change, if the big pay doesn't get bigger or smaller, and the number of people staking doesn't get bigger or smaller, this is how much you are going to get on big payday. There cannot be any better math that can be done because it would require knowledge of the future. So the best math that can exist is already there and shows you how much you would get on big payday if nobody else staked. And, since the big payday can't go down, I guess it can only go up, right? But so like any model that would be useful would be you guessing how many people are going to stake and for how long. And right. That's just, you're pulling numbers out of your ass because you have no idea. I have no idea. Nobody knows. And so you're taking the best number that could possibly exist, which is already there, which is your big payday number, which is in go to hex.win or similar. And then you're just like attaching your guesses to what the future state of the system might be for BPD size and staker percentage, and then molesting the number based on that. So the math is already as good as it can get. And there's not really, you could do that on a napkin, right? Okay. You think, twice as many people are going to be staked. All right. Well, then your BPD cuts in half. You think BPD is going to go up 50%. Okay. Then your BPD goes up 50%. It's really that easy. Like it's, you don't need a computer model to shove those guesses in there.
Yeah, I think right? a lot of people want to see like what the share price or obviously you get the people that want to know the
we
price.
have that. And we have the share price prediction already.
Right.
They have it on hexinfo.io.
Yeah, I think it's after the big payday is what they're looking for. Is that they want to know what's it going to look like, and we won't know that right until after the big payday to see the returns on the first person that exits of their.
I wish I knew too. I know it's going to be a lot higher, and I know there's a minimum bound. So I know that if 100% of people staked, that it would be like 1.4x. So okay. I think that 40% more coins will be in BPD than could possibly be staked. I think you got to check the math because like how many coins? So basically, how many coins could possibly be staked? And then how big is the BPD going to be? And then you have to distribute those BPD coins to those guys. And I think that if 100% of people staked, that you'd still end up with like a 40% payout on top of whatever they had, right? So let's do the math. Right now, with the rate at which people are claiming right now, which affects the supply, right? If more people claim, the supply gets larger, the BPD gets larger, because that, rewards the early guys, which is what we want. We don't want people to be rewarded for keeping HEX a secret. We want people to be rewarded for spreading the good word. So right now, I think total supply, right? I think circulating supply before big payday is set to be around 500 billion. Now, how did I arrive at that number? Ballpark. What's the supply now? About 250. How far is the launch phase? About half done. Okay, well, half done, 250. Another half, about 500. Okay, ballpark, right? So we got a circulating supply of about 500 billion. Now we've got a big payday of about 170 billion. What is it? I want to know whether it's 184 or 164. You guys know?
184 for the yeah, it's 184.
Okay. Yeah.
I can make sure.
So let's call it 184. Yeah. So let's call it 184. So we've got about 500 in circulating supply, and then we've got credited to the staker class about 184B, which leaves I don't know what percent is 184 of 500, and that's like your minimum bound of an average, right? Yeah. And that's at 100% stake.
40%.
Yeah. So that's how I arrived at that number. So it's, it's like, yeah, if every single coin that could exist was also staked, then on average, you've got 184B to pile on top of those 500B guys. Now, a lot of people misunderstand. They think that the total supply is going to go up a lot on big payday. It's probably not. I think a lot of people are staked for 10 years already. Yeah. And I think, the average stake is 4.2 years now. Mm-hmm. So unless that behavior changes, you're not going to see that 180B for a while, And so if, people fear this big dump on big payday, and you're like, I don't know, man. Like, it really depends on how people stake closer to the day, doesn't it? Yeah. What if people start staking longer to get more of the big payday? You could have 10-year average stake. You could have 5-year average stake. Nobody knows. So I wouldn't be comfortable trying to guess whether there was a pump or a dump or sideways or anything on big payday until the day was closer and you could see how people were staking. Yep. Because that's the number that matters. Those are the guys that are going to get all the big payday, are the guys, that are the stakers. So I think this has been a really productive question, because it gives you the tools to make these simple estimates. Okay, how big's big payday? How many people are staking? Okay, there's your average ROI. What's the supply going to look like at the end of the year? About 500B, because we're halfway through and it's about 250. Okay, easy, ballpark, simple to remember, right? And then I think being able to do these things the only thing that's left that you might want to model for is like, what will the share price be? Because I don't have any way to ballpark that.
That one's pretty rough.
Because you've got the ballpark stuff will set the ROI, and then it's a question of who ends their stake with that ROI to set that new share price. That's a little bit harder, right?
Right. Yeah. Because you don't know. Well, you're going to get day one guys out, but you don't. It will depend on how. I guess they'll have the same share price since they were day one, and if they get out on the big payday, so they're automatically going to get that.
Yeah, I think the day one guys will always be able to set the share price, because they'll always have the highest ROI.
Right.
And until you run out of day one guys, right? And then it'll be day two guys that have the option to set the highest share price. So does that answer your question? Good texture.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that was adequate enough. I guess I was looking for more if you thought the ADX that was in Kyle's document was reflective of something that we could see in reality.
You mean ADX and ROI in HEX?
Over 10 years.
He knows more about it than I do. So, because he spent more time modeling it than I did. So my model,
he said that.
Yeah, and he's right. So my model that I did assumed that every staker had the same length stake. His model was more advanced and used independent agents that had varying length stakes themselves. And you can download, he published the code that he used to do it, C# code. in the dev chat. You could find it. From my perspective, it's like, it's really going to matter what percentage of people stake and how long. Because if few people stake and they don't stake that long, and then you stake and you stake long, you're going to get absolutely like gigantic returns, right? So that model's as useful as your guess as to how many people are gonna stake, you know? And once again, another thing, like the USD price multiplies, so the USD gain multiplies times your gain in HEX. And that's just damn beautiful. So right now people have gotten up to 116x just in USD price. And then while they were sitting there holding, they might have got another 20% just for holding. And then, that's like 150x. And then, or 130 or 140x. That's fucking awesome, right? Yeah. And this is only 6 months in. So if you look at the charts and somebody posted a chart, somebody was talking on Twitter today about altcoin pumps, and the altcoin pumps are in percentages that are insane. So if you liked the 10,000x in 2.5 years that Ethereum did, there's coins that went a lot higher, a lot quicker. And for the most part, they died and went to shit, but it still happened, right? So like there's a lot of coins that have done retarded ROI. I think like Verge, Nano, Z Classic, just mostly shit coins, but did returns that were absolutely unbelievable. I think also XRP beat the shit out of Ethereum's 10,000x in 2.5 years. So when I'm quoting like numbers to show the possibilities of what's possible in crypto, I could actually make these numbers a lot larger by quoting other projects. Right. Because their ROI was even crazier, and HEX is a better product than those products. So we're in the lottery to have that same type of insanity where you're like, this can't possibly be happening. There's no way this could be. That's a possibility.
Do you think that you may have undercut HEX with the 10,000x possibility?
Possible.
And yeah. Do you think, have you looked at HEX compared to the early Bitcoin chart? And do you
looks the same?
Do you think that it's tracking from a fractal perspective?
I mean, I don't know about drawing fractals back that far. I think it's more coincidence than it is like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like, whatever the fuck the HEX chart is doing, I love it. Like,
damn straight. That's what I'm saying. Fucking looks good.
Yeah.
Hexo, check the private chat. And
here's another thing. People don't realize how easy it is for the HEX price to go up. So there's 10 million in liquidity. That means there's 5 million Ethereum on the bid side at today's USD price, which means if someone bought 5 million HEX, 5 million of HEX in a single order, and we've seen similar before. I mean, that guy that doubled the price a way back from here, which, by the way, after he doubled it, it never went back. Never went back. That guy that doubled the price in a single candle, he's still massively up. I think he's still like up 1.5x or 2.5x. So someone could put in $5 million, and then that would quadruple the HEX price in a single order. Now, other people could come in after him and start selling it down and such, or they could just keep piling on and FOMO up, which we have seen in the past. So it's really neat when you're operating in this automated market maker that you can make these predictions because, there's no iceberg orders with hidden liquidity that will affect what actually happens. It's all there and clear and open. So I can tell you that if you put about $5 million of Ethereum in, you're going to 4x the HEX price in that single order. Now, what else do you know that can 4x on $5 million input? You think you can 4x Bitcoin on $5 million input? You put 5 million in and no one would even notice it happened. You want to put 5 million into Ethereum, no one will ever notice it happened. But in HEX, you put 5 million in, you're going to 4x the price. And I don't think 5 million is hard to come by. And this is the same shit I told everyone before the price went up 2x, 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 right? Like way back when I told everybody this. And then it happened. I was like, oh, check that out. Like
Good times.
it's very easy to move the HEX price up. Very, very easy.
Yeah.
Do you think that the absence of exchanges is giving us a huge benefit?
I hate exchanges. I really do. I think they're the opposite of what crypto was invented for. Unfortunately, some people gatekeep you until you're on certain exchanges, which is disgusting to me. So the idea of crypto is to get rid of middlemen. And then we have middlemen in crypto that will only pay attention to you if you fellated other middlemen to get on their exchange. And so now, like, here you got to harm the customers to introduce a centralized party that leeches profit off of them and reduces their security and reduces their privacy. And you've got to have multiple of those to fuck over enough people to stop getting gate kept by this centralized entity.
Yep.
That's disgusting to me. I really, really hate it. I really hate it. But what are you going to do? Change the system?
Yeah.
How? It's hard because
What
they don't. Huh?
What do you think about when it comes to exchanges? I mean, I'm still using exchange to off ramp into cash or to on ramp cash into HEX.
Yep.
And so when you see something like I commented before you came on the stream about like the people that in 17 were supposedly coming from financial systems into crypto, and now you see people going to work on Fed coin or whatever work for Mnuchin. What do you think about like the other gate that's kept as far as banks? Because I still have to exit to pay my taxes. I have to exit to pay my house or car. And what do you see the 5-year game when it comes to HEX?
I once again am disgusted by the state of that system. If you want to sell the shirt off your back, you can do so. If you want to sell your car, you can do so. If you want to sell your house, you can do so. You do not need to use a goddamn fucking middleman bank. You do not need to use a bank. If you want to walk outside and sell someone a back massage for $5, you might be in violation of some local ordinance, but you don't need to use a bank. But for some reason, people have parted with their rights, and they have to go through these goddamn middlemen that add friction and destroy privacy and add risk and make you beg for your money back. The concept that you can't sell cryptocurrency out of your front yard is why we have all this shit that we have. If you could sell cryptocurrency out of your front yard, then you wouldn't need to fucking off-ramp in some weird goddamn centralized horror fest. You just off-ramp to your neighbor. You could off-ramp in the yellow pages or your local classifieds, just like when you want to get rid of your couch. You want to get rid of your couch, you put out an ad. You want to get rid of your crypto, you put out an ad. That's how it should be. And that's how I hope the world becomes. But as it stands right now, we have to supplicate to these fucking middlemen to let people turn their fiat into crypto. It's just goddamn regrettable. Now, some things have improved. So I know that there's a place where you can off-ramp your crypto, without any sign up. You just give them your bank account. It still requires a bank account, but at least there's not all this extra bullshit, right? I think they have a cap of like $3,500 a day or something. People need to fight for their rights. Stop with the security theater bullshit. We need to get the fucking government out of a lot of these peer-to-peer transactions because they're not making the world a better place. They're making the world a worse place. The vast majority of people are honest and doing honest things, fucking over the vast majority of people in order to pretend to catch a couple guys. It's bullshit. It does not make the world better. It makes it worse. So save the money on the fake security theater and law enforcement theater, and then get real investigators that go do real groundwork and real legwork and get real subpoenas, and then everything will work better. The people that are doing, honest stuff will have a better time doing it, and the people fighting the bad guys will have more resources to do it. It's just like the difference between Israeli airport security and American airport security. More people want to blow up Israeli planes, period. but their planes don't get blown up. Why? Because they don't care about what you're bringing on the plane. They care about who you are. They care about your identity. They care about you. In America, they don't give a fuck who you are. They care about your stuff. And so there's this paradigm shift between caring about the human or the stuff. And in America, they care about the stuff. And in Israel, they care about the human. And the human is a more effective way to do it. Much more effective way to do it. So airport security in Israel works wonderfully. Airport security in America never catches a goddamn thing. Everything they try and sneak on gets right fucking through. So the only reason planes aren't falling out of the air in the United States is because no one's trying. So, you know,
I think
there's real security and there's security theater.
5% of the stuff that actually gets caught in the
right.
the TSA, only 5%. Yes. And you know, it's like whatever.
And they're feeling up your kids and seizing your water bottles.
Staring at
you. They forgot. They don't even remember why water bottles were stopped. Now they just think the bottle's the problem. Yeah. They forgot it was from two-part liquid explosives. But they're just so dumb. And how couldn't they be? I mean, these are guys that make $14 an hour. Just got a fucking, community college, and they're not trained to be goddamn security experts. Yeah. And there's nothing for them to catch anyway. Like I got some toenail clippers, man. Woo. Yeah. So in summary, like HEX will benefit from reduced friction in on-ramps. So the fact that you can turn your credit card into Ethereum by MoonPay or Wire, WYRE, to get it into ETH and then turn that ETH into HEX very easily, that's good reduced friction. If you want to, there's some other on-ramp. Yeah, USDC. So if you want to go to Coinbase, get USDC with no fees using dollars, and then turn that USDC into HEX and Uniswap, like hexdex.win, then that's reduced friction. I mean, think about it. How much extra friction does it take to get their USDC with no fee and then turn it into HEX on hexdex.win? How much more friction is that transaction versus, hey, Coinbase, please list HEX. Please tell people when you're going to list it accurately. Please have uptime and don't go down all the time. Please not inspect people's transactions after they've sent their coins elsewhere. Please, that's a lot of fucking begging, right? Mm-hmm. They've already got Ethereum. Cool. Buy the Ethereum. If you like HEX, turn it into HEX. We don't need to beg anybody. So everybody in the world, people in chat are always like, get listed on Binance. You do it. You want on Binance? You do it. Right now, Binance has Ethereum. And if you get Ethereum on Binance, you could have HEX like that. So, and by the way, it's more liquid. So even if HEX is listed on Coinbase and listed on Binance, I am willing to bet that the Uniswap market for HEX is more liquid than the market on Coinbase. So It's like, even if Coinbase and Binance list HEX, probably you still want to get ETH and just swap it to HEX on Uniswap for the decreased slippage and better liquidity. So everyone should be focused on onboarding new users and not supplicating and begging the exchanges. Yeah. Because you got listed on exchange doesn't mean shit. Things get delisted too. Well, if being listed was so amazing, how could you get delisted? Should be amazing, shouldn't it? No. It's just another place. People have to want to trade it. People have to want to buy it or sell it. Just because it's listed there doesn't mean dick. So if you want HEX to do well, you should be focused on onboarding new users. They can get Ethereum from any exchange in the world already. So they don't need to have HEX as the primary pair there. But you know what? If you want that shit, HEX is already on 26 exchanges already. So, but you don't see them on the homepage. Why? Because crypto is designed to get rid of middlemen. So.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious when people say you can't even buy or you can't even sell your HEX. That's the worst one too. You can't even sell it, guys. You can't even sell your HEX. It's like, what are you talking about?
It's funny because
it's a wash trading. It's just like, okay, yeah.
I like when people make two statements at once that contradict themselves. They're like, Richard, you're pumping the price, and you're making other people FOMO. You're like, well, hold on a second. If other people are FOMOing, aren't they pumping the price? I don't fucking Don't those combat? Like, aren't those conflicting? And then people will say shit like, the volume's all wash traded and you can't sell it.
Yeah.
Wash traded.
Well,
that wash traded all the time. You're wash traded.
Yeah. It's the most honest and transparent volume in the entire world. You can see every single person that bought, every single person that sold, whether they have stakes open, whether they made money, what other coins they have. It's the most open and transparent trading in the entire history of cryptocurrency's existence, period. Yeah. But they say the opposite because they're fucking retarded. And I even made a video to show them how to do this analysis. Here's a website you go to see each trade. Here's how you see what coins they're selling. Here's how you see what, I fucking literally shove this information down their throat and they're just still oblivious. Like, they can't get it. It blows my mind, dude.
I think it comes down to just people not liking you, Richard. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I got today from the stream.
They just don't like you. They're like, well, he's, they just don't like how you come across to other people. And so they attribute, they think that you're talking to them or something. They're just like, I'm offended for this other person that he called retarded. So I'm going to, screw Richard Hart. Like, they've never even talked to you. It's hilarious.
It's a good theory, but Vitalik and I don't act the same and they hate the fuck out of him.
That's
right.
True.
Yeah.
So
for different reasons though.
I'm not sure, man.
Bitcoin guys hate Vitalik just because he's Vitalik. Yeah,
they hate him because he made a new coin.
Yeah,
and it works, and it does what it said it would, kind of, right? Like DAOs didn't work out, and World Computer didn't work out, but doing more powerful blockchain shit worked out. So I'm just saying, man, everybody hates Elon Musk in crypto. Everybody hates Bill Gates in crypto. I don't think people like Steve Jobs in crypto. I didn't. Now, who are the people that actually change the fucking world? Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. The people hate Vitalik. What's Vitalik do? Writes open source software, funds development, funds the community, donated to the Sens Foundation several $1 million trying to save people's lives. His blog posts are so fucking smart. I don't understand half the shit he's saying.
You got called paranoid today because of Sci-Vive and the fact that you want to do life expectancy elongation.
They said, what did they say? They said that what if Richard Hart has a panic attack and sells all the liquidity
because your mental state was too sketchy. That's what they said.
That's what they're coming. There's the fun right now, man.
Dude,
heated.
If I held my Bitcoin bags for a long time, and I know how to hold. And then if you're curious about how the participants in HEX act, we'll go look and see who's selling. Anytime you're curious who's selling, you go look it up, and you see if the whales are the ones selling, or if it's these fucking new plebs that just got in. Yeah. So it's a very open system. You can see what everyone's doing. I think that if you make a difference in this world, you are going to be hated. And if you're going to be hated anyway, you might as well have fun with it. Fuck it. Right?
You do have fun.
So this dude, this guy, he thought he was going to come make HEX look bad. Set up a hit piece, set up a trap, right? Didn't tell me what was going on. I was told it was going to be a friendly fireside chat. Friendly. Tried to stare my screen. I talked to 7 lawyers. You're like, well, I talked to a couple lawyers that wrote an opinion letter, said everything's fine. So fuck yourself. Your lawyers suck. I don't know what to tell you, mate. He's like, does the SEC know about this? Like, yeah, front page of our cryptocurrency report HEX to the SEC. Hundreds of people filed reports. Yeah, they know what's going on. Sure.
Yeah.
So, and they regulate securities. HEX isn't a security. It's that simple. It's really that simple. I like what they do. I love that they shut scams down. I love that they try and protect people's fucking money. The SEC has a very, very, very good intention and sometimes does really good shit. So I support the SEC in much of what they do. It's just they don't regulate what HEX is, right? They're not a software regulator. They're not an internet regulator. They're not a human speech regulator. They regulate securities, and that involves a very specific set of shit, which HEX doesn't have. So I think that if you want to make a difference in this world, so back to that guy, he's like, oh, I'm going to publish this and make you look like shit. And you're like, no, actually, I'm going to publish it. And really, Hexo is the one that
He
published
pulled
it,
it
'cause I wasn't
down.
gonna tweet it.
He pulled
No,
it
somebody
down.
else did it, but yeah, I reposted.
He doxed
it on
himself and then he
Twitter.
pulled it down.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Hexo's tweet of it. And I'm like, all right. So usually I just don't give the scammers any power, right? So if you're a troll or a scammer, I just let you drown in obsolescence. Like nobody knows you even exist.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to waste my audience's attention on shit that sucks. So if someone's trolling and just wasting everybody's time, I don't want to waste my audience's attention on that shit. So I wasn't going to tweet it out, right? Their audience that they had already saw it and was impressed, and so that's enough. But then Hexo tweeted it, and it got like a shitload of tweets and retweets. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I guess since he did it now, I'll come out and do it too. And I told the story people didn't know about him trying to share my screen. And him being a goddamn scammer selling, if you're having ICO, give me $200. I'll put it on my site. Yeah. So you sell ICO listings is what you sell for a living. You reviewed 400 coins. There aren't 400 coins of value in this fucking ecosystem, man. No. So you review a lot of goddamn scams is what you do. No. So a fucking scammer interviewed me, tried to make me look bad, and was bragging about how he's going to promote the video. Hexo starts tweeting the video. I start tweeting the video. He pulls the video down.
And then did you see his Twitter when he was tweeting?
Technical error.
Yeah, he had a technical error.
Technical error.
How did you have a technical error? Crypto Coffee is like, what'd you do? Accidentally slip and press the go on private button on YouTube?
Right.
That's about all you
but
do.
Then it was back up 5 minutes later. Somebody pulled it back up.
Because we put it up. We reposted it because he took it down and then we reposted it. And it was like, no, you're not getting away with this, my friend. Nope. We're taking you down. We're not going to let you just get away with it.
What that guy did was so disgusting and wrong that even people that hate me hate that guy more. People that don't like Hex are like, man, you're fucking horrible. Because what that guy did was so shitty, so terribly shitty. And he'll saying things like, you're an MLM. No, there's one level and it ends in 6 months. So what the fuck are you talking about? No. Or, you're a Ponzi. Well, where's the promises, man? Where's your promised return? Where's the fake work? No, there aren't any. There's none of that shit. It's the most honest disclosures in the world. Oh, well, what's this origin address nobody knows about? I don't know. It's a disclaimer at the bottom of every page and the white paper. So if you click technical details and click the layman's guide, it's all there. It's clear as fuck, more clear than anything else. If you participate in Bitcoin, is there a fucking guide on the Bitcoin website that walks you through the code and says this part of the code does this and this part of the code does this? No, there's fucking not. There's not for any other cryptocurrency that I know of, but Hex has that shit. Yeah. Hex shows you this code does this code does this code does this, as clear as possibly could fucking be. So it has better disclosures, more honest, no completely finished project. What the fuck more could you possibly want? But I'm glad. Yeah. I'm really glad that I had that talk with that guy because it inspired me to improve the homepage. So we would always have this argument about design to 10,000x because I'm not allowed to talk about design intentions. We have to pretend that price isn't something that can be designed. We have to pretend that scarcity isn't something that can be designed, even though everyone makes a halvening video. So Satoshi's allowed to make a pump-a-mental with a halvening, but I'm not allowed to design any fucking pump-a-mentals or I'm Satan himself. Interesting. And Ethereum's doing the same shit. Ethereum's doing coin burning with the IP 1559 and doing staking with if you get in earlier, you get more shares kind of shit. So they're copying me. I'm building on what Satoshi did, but the world wants to pretend that this isn't allowed. And it's just a copy of what works in the real world. The CD of getting paid more for longer, we just copied what they do in the real world. They pay you 20% more interest if you lock a year longer. We copied that shit and put it in Hex. But everyone wants to yell and scream about being a demon and shit. Okay. So even though Ethereum did 10,000x in 2.5 years, and I think Hex is designed better than Ethereum, and therefore by syllogistic inference, I think Hex can outperform Ethereum, which means it was designed to do better than a 10,000x in 2.5 years, which Bitcoin was also designed to do. It's over 2 millionx in 2017. It's over 900,000x now. Well, maybe 880,000x last I looked. So these are reasonable numbers that I'm speaking about honestly and truthfully and describing the design intention and still telling you, yes, crypto can go to zero. Yes, all this shit drops 85, 95% every once in a while, no matter what anyway. I'm the guy spreading that word. But since they don't listen and they all got hung up on the 10,000x, I finally supplicated and I finally said, fuck it, I'm getting rid of it. And we just got rid of it. That pisses me off. Okay. because I did design it to beat Ethereum, and Ethereum did do a 10,000x in 2.5 years. So it pisses me off that I can't speak honestly about the design intention of the system. And another thing, business design itself is entirely focused on value creation and creating a system which becomes more valuable over time. That is what business design is, period. So every business is designed to accrue value and become more valuable.
And it should be disclosed.
Isn't that similar to designing an economic system? Exactly. Isn't that similar to designing a cryptocurrency? Is a design intention of accruing value? That something could become more valuable over time? The fact that I'm demonized for doing that is just fucking enraging to me. Just makes me so angry. I said
it's crazy that Americans and people in general, they don't want you to talk about how you're earning or talk about how much you can get. Like
the difference between can and will.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it can do 10,000x, but who the fuck knows? Like, I don't know what it'll do, and neither do you. Nobody knows. But I know this is the highest appreciating asset class in the history of man. And so if you're playing in the space, you really have a good chance of being the highest appreciating thing that's ever existed in the history of man. These aren't extreme statements. They're obvious statements. But since so many people misunderstood them, misconstrued them, and forced them to sound extreme because of their bias, I just removed the language. And so now it doesn't say design to 10,000x anymore on the website. Now it says HEX did 115. It went up 115x in 129 days.
I like the portion that you did, because it does actually, it does outline why we came into it, like why you made it, why we should have HEX on the, instead of, I think that it outlines exactly what HEX is here for, to get rid of all these scams, to promote a good, honest product instead of, it combats the scams like you put on the outline.
They smirked at me today when we talked about that, because we came in with the same arguments. Well, they were trying to be objective at first. It's like, we're going to be real objective and ask you guys questions, and let's talk about HEX. Let's get people to understand it. And the first thing they did was they pulled up a list of what is a scam. And let's go line item by line item of why HEX is a scam. And that's how they started the whole thing, So we had to go over each one. And of course they called it a Ponzi. They called it an MLM. They called it all of these things, and as we tried to explain all that to them, there were snickers and smirks, Oh yeah.
They don't get it through their head. They don't get it through their heads. It's just like, guys, come on. You have to actually.
Here's my favorite part. How is a bunch of bitches holding ETH, which went down 95% and is currently down 85%, going to gatekeep or talk shit to HEX, which is doing new all-time highs?
Yeah.
Bag holders, I hate to break it to you, but you actually bought something that price performatively behaved just like a Ponzi. Bitcoin, price performance-wise, behaves like a Ponzi. Ethereum, price performance-wise, behaves like a Ponzi. Period. And so the fact that these things can get up, by the way, Ethereum never made a new all-time high yet. Bitcoin never made a new all-time high yet. And it's not written in stone that they fucking will. So, to have people that are holding bags that are down 85 and 95% point and laugh at HEX, which is not down from its all-time high like theirs, it's just very funny to me, because those motherfuckers need to grow some humility. They need to grow some humility, because they were all shilling when fucking ETH was 1,500 and Bitcoin was 20K. And I called the top at 19,600 and said it was overbought. It was time to do a dip. I'm the guy that did that. I called the 20K Christmas from 4K months earlier, and I called the top at 19,600. And I called the multi-year bear market at 8,500.
Broke all of our hearts.
Fucking are, and all my predictions came true. Yeah. And my predictions came true, and I had a lot of shit for it, because only bearish posts are rewarded, and only bullish posts are rewarded. If you say anything that's bearish, you're fucking annihilated online. Yeah. You will receive no likes. You'll receive no retweets. No one will be nice to you, because everyone wants to manipulate and lie to the public to try and pump their fucking bags.
Yep.
So if your coin went down 95%, you don't ever get to gatekeep or shit talk another coin's price performance, because it's just, what is there? What's like?
But not only did you call the top, Richard, afterwards, you said, you got on that stream and you said, it's over, guys. It's over. We are in a bear market for the next 2 to 3 years, more than likely. And it freaking happened.
Yep.
I mean, that's what you said. It wasn't that you called the top, but you called the bear market too, and the length of it. So, I mean, Hats off, bud.
I get some shit right.
Nailed it.
I get some shit right. A lot of it.
Richard, what do you think is like the biggest setback right now? Like, for me, it's like anybody that
Coin market cap, dude. Coin
yeah.
motherfucking market cap lying about our goddamn position. It's just goddamn disgusting to me. Listen, you guys have a fucking rank. Your rank says you're sorting by market cap, but then you have this outside fucking left field rule, which is that there's this page 3 where there's actually coins that have higher market caps that are just deprived of the front page status because of some random shit. And then you hide what that random shit is. HEX is 1% of all Ethereum transactions. And it's been more over the last 6 months. HEX is the top financial app on Ethereum. HEX is the number 1 liquidity and volume in Uniswap. 40% of Uniswap trades are HEX. HEX has the most open and transparent volume in trades in all of cryptocurrency, and it's on 24 or 26 goddamn exchanges. Stop fucking us over. We have opinion letters that say that we're not a security from 2 different countries, from 2 different lawyers. Please stop fucking us over and lying about our goddamn position in the world. Because when noobs go to CoinMarketCap and type in HEX, that shit is like rank 203 when it should really be like rank 25 or 30. And that fucking sucks that you're lying about HEX's position in the world using some made up bullshit, because HEX is better than the other fucking coins that you have there on the front page. Those other coins are fucking garbage. ADA doesn't even exist. It doesn't even fucking exist. Why the fuck are we ranked lower than some shit that doesn't fucking exist? Why? These goddamn middlemen fucking bullshit.
Blows my mind.
Do you think market cap should include staked coins or not?
Well, currently it doesn't, and in HEX it doesn't. And you know, it. Look, everybody is full of shit in crypto except HEX. Satoshi's fucking coins never fucking circulated. He fucking mined them and he sat on them. They never circulated. They're never offered to the goddamn market. But they're counted in his circulating supply, inflating his market cap.
For 10 years.
Then, for 10 fucking years. And then copycats came along and gave his fucking non-circulating coins new bullshit non-circulating coins. And those fucking coins are counted for circulating market cap and the other fucking forks as well. So BCH market cap's inflated, BSV's market cap inflated, Bitcoin market cap inflated. They're counting fucking coins that were never ever offered to the public ever. So that's the status quo. The status quo is whatever the fuck we want to call circulating is whatever it is, and then we're going to use that to calculate the market cap, right? So the concept that in HEX, when people stake their coins, they're burnt, and that reduces the circulating supply, and then that reduces the market cap. It's a little bit weird. Because now we've got people doing the best thing they can possibly do, which would cause price to appreciate, assuming static or increasing demand. But HEX is penalized for when people do the right thing by a reduced market cap. And it's being put up against things that have the fakest fucking market caps you could dream. The fakest fucking market caps. So you think that BSV's circulating supply and market cap should be higher because they gave some coins to somebody who's never used his Bitcoin and will surely never use his fucking other fork coins. So that shit's fake and lame and sucks. But here we are being gate capped. It's like fucking. We do everything better, but we're treated like we do the opposite.
Did you expect that we'd be gate kept to the point like how we are now?
No, I did not. Because look, everything else that's dog shit does just fine. Fake and gay and horrible, terrible, disgusting garbage is all over the top 100, all over it.
Right. Yeah.
So
I really don't understand that. It's like you go. We were naming off coins earlier that we got into, that we rode down.
They were shit.
Yeah, and they're still some of them that we're naming off are still in the top 100 on CoinMarketCap, and it's like what are they? They're down 99.8%, and it's like how are they still on these CoinMarketCap and such?
Here's my question, Richard. So if these guys aren't stupid. I mean, these people can understand if I can understand HEX. Now, wait a second.
Which guys are we talking about?
Qualify
but
that.
these people understand cryptocurrencies. They've got to. I mean, if a guy like me can figure out Hex and go,
You mean the
okay, well,
gatekeepers?
shit, the gatekeepers. And so what do you think it is?
Okay.
I mean, is it's obvious.
Jealousy
I'm
and
sure
hatred.
they can really give a shit about your personality. Is it that they've seen something that's going to kick everything's ass and they're like, oh shit, we better slow this son of a bitch down or it's going to wreck all
I think
of
it's
us.
jealousy and hatred.
Yeah.
I think
Really?
it's jealousy and hatred. I'll give you, this is just a theory. I'm pulling them out of ass, but it's a cool narrative. So let's explore it. Because I shared so much time with the public, because I spoke so clearly and openly about my thoughts and ideas, people thought they were on the same level with me. They thought, oh, here's Richard, YouTuber. Okay, so what's a YouTuber? Broke guy. They stay broke. Okay. But they don't realize I'm not a YouTuber, right? I don't make thumbnails. I barely ever release videos. I'm an ass kicking machine. I'm a business guy. That's what I do. That's why I retired when I was 25. That's why I traveled the world. Back in 2003, I was retired. I only had to do business for a couple of years until I made enough money to fucking quit. So that's what I really am, is an ass kicking machine. But then people, they grew camaraderie, right? So in the armed services, the enlisted men are isolated socially from the officers because familiarity breeds contempt.
Mm-hmm.
And if the officers and the enlisted men hang out too much, the fucking enlisted men won't do what they're told anymore because they're too familiar with the officers. So they literally socially force isolate them to maintain a structure of order and control.
Yep.
And I think that by me being as public and open and with the public, that they didn't see me as alien enough to have earned the right to build some $1 billion thing. And so for them, it's like, this isn't fair. I mean, it's just Richard. And, he just built $1 billion thing. He said he was going to build some amazing thing and then he built it and now it's here. It's just not fair. And so every YouTuber is angry that they didn't take my advice and launch a coin. And every founder is angry that my coin's kicking the shit out of their coin. And, there's just a lot of jealousy and a lot of hatred because I built something that's goddamn amazing. And now it's amazing without me. This show that I'm watching with you guys was fantastic before I got here, and it'll be fantastic after I leave. I am no longer important to the ecosystem because the design was so good that everyone else now has already locked in and is creating more value than I'm creating. You guys do more streams and produce more content than I do. You got everybody's doing more for Hex than I do. I just sit around basically. So that pisses off a lot of people. And I'll tell you what,
we're bots.
I'm not humble about it. I'm fat and old, but I'm also funny and rich and I got a big dick. So, it's like, I know what I am. This is not a mystery to me. And that pisses some people off,
Yeah. And it's growing exponentially right now. I mean, the YouTube community for Hex is just, it's starting to explode. There's so much content out there now.
I think we need to transcend the crypto market. The beautiful thing about transcending the crypto market is, one, there's a lot more money outside of crypto than in it. Two, a lot of people haven't been fucking ruined and lost all their money. So a lot of guys holding bags from 2017, you bought Bitcoin at 20K, now it's 8K. You're missing a lot of your stack. You bought Ethereum at 1,500. Shit was 80 2 months ago. That's a lot of your stack missing, man. Yeah. So there's a whole world of people that have never experienced how cool crypto is and can be. And I would love to see Hex transcend all of the gatekeeping assholery in crypto and route around it. So you know what? It ain't hard to make a CoinMarketCap site. There's some private label versions of them from sale. You want to keep gatekeeping us? That's fine. We can go compete against you on SEO. And then we'll see if we can get your rank to drop. So I used to do SEO for a living and I haven't put any fucking time into it in a long time, but I know how the game is played. So if you want to keep gatekeeping Hex, watch the Hex community route around you. And then there'll be a new popular website. Like for instance, right now, anybody that's a fan of Hex, they don't go to CoinMarketCap. They go to Coin Paprika. You do a search for Coin Paprika, Hex is going to come up as one of the first things that comes up under it, because that's probably why most people even go to that site. So people that choose to step against Hex are going to get fucking routed around, you know? Like exchanges want to fuck around, no problem, man. We replace you. You know, it's like you can either get on this train and enjoy the ride, or you can get run the fuck over. It's really that easy. Because ain't nothing none of these people are doing is that hard.
Yeah.
And that includes starting exchange. Starting exchange is not fucking hard. Not hard.
On on Yavin's site, we were taking a deep dive on it on my channel yesterday, and he shills IEOs, you know, initial exchange offerings, and he also is sponsored by the Electronium and
two other
one of the
Saga and some other Rocket.
Rocket, which you know, gives you 500x leverage that you can do, and it's like, you're calling us a scam, man. 500x leverage, huh?
Bro, it's like this easy. Anybody that tries to like gatekeep as a YouTuber, you're like, okay, so do you think most people make money trading? No. Do you have links to people to go trade? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's over then, right? It's like, okay. So you basically got links that will harm most people to click them. Yeah. Okay. Well, this conversation's over then, eh?
Right. Yeah. They don't see it as like, you know, that 99% of, and in the long run, 100% of the people lose their money. They don't see it like that. They think that they're helping somebody out getting, you know,
I don't think
they promote it. I
think they know.
Yeah. They probably know what's going on, but you know, they like make their little.
What about guys like Tone? I mean, the guy knows that he's making himself look like an ass here. I mean, it's going to blow up in his face.
He's been wrong for so long. He's used to it. He would feel weird if he was right. He might not know how to handle it. I mean, if you want to see me destroy Tone Vase in person, I did this in Singapore. I fucking annihilated him. Go on Cointelegraph's YouTube channel. Cointelegraph has a YouTube channel, and watch the Tone Vase versus Richard Hart, Bitcoin Realist versus Bitcoin Maximalist video. Holy shit. Read the comments in the video, dude. Fucking that's why he blocked me. Like, because I don't even post those fucking threads.
He's butthurt is what it is. And that's
dude. Yeah, because he takes people, he harms people for a living. Yeah. He convinces people they're going to make money. They lose money, and then he profits off them losing money.
And then he runs around hiding behind his everything else is a scam thing.
Right, exactly. He's like, you know, yeah, but this thing sucks. You're like, okay, but you're still robbing people. Like,
yes, it's great.
So yeah, it sucks, and you suck. You guys both suck. You know, it's funny to me that if you watch the Bitcoin halvening shows, it was the most gross looking, terrible public face that you could show for a project.
Yeah,
like the Tone Vase one that had the Winklevoss twins on it had a guy in a goat costume singing a song about we like trustless something or another and like with fake trade set up, like in his room he has just random monitor like up in the corner of the room, and you could never ever possibly see what was on that monitor. like if you were sitting here, having a monitor up in the corner of the room is entirely fucking useless. And then he has like a staff with a fucking like Bitcoin logo on it or some shit. Anybody in the world that was thinking of investing that saw that would be like, yeah, I'm selling. I'm out. whatever that was, I don't want that shit anywhere near my investment. and then there's just more of that, right? It's like 30% of the people on the show have face masks because they don't want to show their identities. Yeah. So you look like basically vigilantes or terrorists or fucking. I mean, I guess now because of the pandemic, you look slightly less retarded. But the goat's head isn't exactly a fucking breathing mask.
And then Chico lost it on that other group that they were doing.
That was hilarious. So people with no emotional intelligence at all are out there Aspergering on each other for the public's fucking
Aspergering on each other.
Holy wild.
Well, I guess we have to restart this, not restart the stream, but every 12 hours, if we want to keep it archivable, we have to restart it because it only goes 12 hours. So can I send you guys a link and then you guys can get back in?
Send it.
I want to ask a good texture question. Tell me about the guns behind you, man. What do you got there?
So the top one up here, and sorry if I got echo or my audio is bad, but the top one here, that's a Colt M4. It's a 5.56 by 45 caliber NATO. And the second one there, that is a 12 gauge shotgun. It'll accept a 3-inch Magnum. It's a break barrel it's a double barrel.
Side by side.
Yeah, side by side. And then the bottom one, that's the oldest. That's my very first gun that I ever got. That is a 22 long range. I think it was made back in the 1950s. It was purchased at Sears, I think, by my potentially great grandfather.
I remember Sears.
I think it's funny that, like, so of the people on the stream, we have 1 precious metals bug, 2 Marines, and 1 otherwise gun enthusiast.
Yeah. And FundingGym was in the Navy, so he was a corpsman.
He was a corpsman. He's one of us.
Yeah, he was attached to the Marines, so we're pretty much all Marines up at the top.
Yeah. They do what we do.
And I worked for the DOD at one time.
Oh,
No shit.
Yeah.
Saying it's funny that, like, a lot of people in HEX lift weights and have worked with guns quite a bit, and it's like it's kind of like Bitcoin-esque, you know, because you don't see that shit in Ethereum. Like, it's just not it's not in their ecosystem. But in Bitcoin and HEX, it's like it's about bodybuilding and guns.
Show them HEX. Yeah. Show them HEX.
These bad boys.
Strong hands, baby. Strong hands.
Strong hands. How I practice my strong hands. What's that? Keto. I've been doing try to do keto. Man, it's so hard with the pregnant wife. Pregnant wife, she always wants to eat just nonsense. So it's just like, yeah, all right. Yeah, because she's like, oh, I'm gonna make this. I'm like, all right, whatever. Just make it. So after she, you know, in a couple months after the baby's born, for sure.
Yeah, so, I'm into, like, you know, watching your macros now versus, you know, keto. Keto's good for dropping a lot of weight, you know, quickly. But, you know, the macros thing is where it's at when it comes to building and gaining. Once you get down to your target weight, then you can, you know, run your macros, and everybody's got their own. So
yeah,
keeps you optimum.
Yeah, I think I'm really happy with a lot of the stuff that I couldn't have predicted. So I'm really happy with how the community's turned out. I'm really happy with how the exchange, like Uniswap existing, has turned out. I like somebody built meta transactions already. Awesome. Thanks. You know, there's just so much shit that's happening on its own that nobody has to kind of like force, that I love it. You know, I really couldn't have predicted all that stuff would happen.
You know, let me say something to you, Richard, about the community. I've been in a lot of different communities in my day, and I've been in a lot of crypto communities too. But, you know, getting to know people on a personal level, you know, with the show that we've been doing and talking to people in private and stuff. I mean, this is a strong fucking community right here. I mean, you've got some people that are, I mean, not only are they smart, but they're good people that are involved in this. I mean, I'm really impressed with the community as far as the depth personality and the character that the Hex community has.
Well, smart. There's some smart fuckers in the community, man. There's a dude named Nanand that posts in chat. Love his posts. Smart as fuck. Crypto Coffee, love his posts. You know, he makes great videos. Like Kyle's great. There's so many people.
Have you seen that Adrian Eisen guy? Have you seen?
Yeah,
him
he's
yet?
fun to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. We try to reach out to him to get him on stream or anything, but he does not respond to any of our which is fine. That's fine. I get it. But we're like, man, we're trying to get you on, bro. Trying to get you on here. But
I'm always messaging or whatever on the commenting every time he puts something out, but he doesn't really respond to that either. I think he either restreams it from his DTube or something. I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe we should hit him up on DTube.
And this is just the beginning still. I mean, we're talking about 6-month-old coin. It's so cool. You know?
Yeah.
So fucking
6
cool.
months.
Yep.
Dude, 6 months ain't shit.
Yeah, especially in cryptocurrency. Financial. Yeah.
I'm excited.
And to be sitting where we're at. Woo.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. I mean, imagine if CoinMarketCap stops the tomfoolery and sticks us where we belong. I think it's going to make a big difference. You know? And what if, like, there's this dude, Conrad Zen. I don't know anything about him, but I like his videos. I see him, you know, rolling in a Rolls Royce with a driver talking about HEX, you know?
He's coming on Discourse. He's going to come on Discourse here in the next week or so.
Yeah. So imagine we get some more dudes like that reaching out into the real world, talking about, hey, look, I'm baller, and this is how. So check it. You know, that could be great. There's there's so many cool things that are left untapped for HEX that I'm excited to see if they can happen and what they look like if they do, you know?
Yeah.
Like you guys earlier were talking about the XRP army. I don't see any reason we can't have something bigger, you know?
Oh, easy.
We have a working product. Like their dream was, we're going to get the banks. They never got the banks. They never got them. That's still the shit they talk about. Well, our dream fulfilled. It's like, we're trustless interest. Look, people are making trustless interest right now. It's just working now. It's done. There's no roadmap. There's no fucking team. It's finished. It's working now. So, like, I mean, think about it. Like, somebody could, EOS put up a billboard in Times Square. Somebody just put up a billboard in Times Square for Ross Ulbricht. It's not that far a stretch to imagine somebody would put up a billboard.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Michael.
Hey,
I don't know, Richard. Can't hear Richard though.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to stop in and say hi. Actually, when I asked you to send a link, I was actually in the chat just watching you guys. I was expecting to just watch you guys. I wasn't expecting to get on the damn show. So hey guys, listen. I got a Zoom call that I got to take in 4 minutes. So I just wanted to be able to check back in after I was on my Zoom call if you guys were still going. So all right, hey man, I just want to say hey. 12 more hours. Okay, well maybe I'll check back in. Hey, Richard. Right. Hey Richard, I just wanted to be able to say to you, thanks for what you've done, brother. We're all on the team, man. All right.
Thank you, man. Thanks for playing along.
For sure, man. We'll see you soon.
Later.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Michael.
All right, guys. Bye.
I'm probably gonna head off in a bit too. If anybody's got any questions or something. Poor Hexa. 24-hour stream. Crazy, man. I mean, I did an 8-hour stream. That was enough. 24 hours. Fuck.
I'll be here with you, brother.
All right.
I won't let you
can
down.
keep it brief.
Do we have any questions
from chat?
From chat?
I have a chat question.
All right.
Or any of you guys. I mean, you know me, man. I'll answer anything.
Let's see.
Is Fedcoin good?
I don't know what that is. Maybe that means USD. I mean, USD is great when everybody's trying to get cash. But it's like over time, it just becomes worth less and less and less. So these monetary contraction periods are like few and far between, like once every 10 years. So you kind of got to be in assets or how you store your real value. And if you guys like the stuff I say, you really should read my books. They're free. Download them. t.me/Sci-Vive. It's got a lot of great stuff that I even forgot I knew. So all the stuff that's in there, I read it and I'm like, damn, that's good stuff. it's my own. Oh,
Serena's
Forgot
doing
I
an
invented it.
audiobook.
I got an editor going through and actually fixing it up to make it more like a publishable book that we can go and you know,
Cool.
publish into the real world in hard copy and such. I think he's done with like 3 chapters so far. So
Cool.
I'm just going to have him finish it, you know, because it's more than enough for several books. So we might turn it into like a several book
Series.
kind of thing. Yeah, because it's like 500,000 fucking words or something.
Holy shit.
Some retarded level of words. It's either like 275 or 475K. So it's, you know, your first book should be about 75K. So there's way too much content there basically. So it needs to be split into different books. And I might be able to cull some of the more complicated shit out of there. Some of it's just too complicated for people, you know. I pull some of that out. So what do we got for chat?
Let's see.
Because I'm going to go after I answer it.
Hoorah.
Let's see. A room for project on top of. Is there room for projects on top of Hex? Yeah, of course.
Yes. There's tons of projects being built on Hex. I don't even keep track of them. So Michael that was in here earlier is involved with Hex.business. I don't even understand all the things they do. Apparently they have an app that works that lets you refer people by QR code. That's cool. They've got their own token they built into it called HXY. Not exactly sure how that works.
Lagged out again, Richard. Use a brand or escape.
So look at all those things, and there's new things coming out all the time. So, you know, Trayvon James launches, he's got like 5 or 6 different tokens built on top of Hex. I only know maybe one of them does. Then some shrimp thing came out, and this Hex 3D came out and failed because they didn't develop it right, which is why I've never played any of these games. I've never used any of them. You know, I like to see people's financial value put into things that have been audited and are secure and are trustless and peer-to-peer and don't have any human intervention. That's, if I had my druthers, how everything would be. But a lot of people has a different risk profile, and they really want to play around with different things and are happy to risk some capital to do that. And for those people that have those belief systems, you know, these other things that are built on top of Hex, they could be fun to play with, right? So people like lossless lotteries and people like weird time games and like, you know, people that like that stuff. Okay, well, have fun, build it. And you've got, you know, like the one thing that I know about that I thought was really cool. So Trayvon built one of those hourglass based games that you locked your Hex in the real contract through it. And then no matter how shitty the game turned out, at least you got real Hex locked in the real contract. Yeah, so that I saw as innovation, you know? But I don't want to become an expert on all these things. I'm focused on other stuff, you know? So if you want to learn about those things, you're going to have to learn about them yourself, because I don't know about them. I can't tell you. I don't like, there's just, can you like imagine how shitty it would have been for me to like learn a lot about some game and then the game just launches and fails because of they left a dev backdoor in there. And it's I don't want to learn about this. What a waste of my fucking time that would be. Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff you can build, man. To build, get to it. Programmable money. It's really, you can program a Hex, you can build on Hex, and people are being very successful and making money doing it. So you should give it a try.
Somebody asked, who do you think Satoshi Nakamoto is?
I think Satoshi Nakamoto is an English academic that writes sloppy academic style code. He's intelligent and likely a gold bug. He was on or closely related to the Cypherpunks mailing list. So there's maybe only 200 or 300 people in the world that it could be. It's not Adam Back, who isn't even a developer. It's not Craig Wright, who's just a habitual liar and not a developer. It's not... I don't think it's the guy that went to jail for his drug selling activities, but helped author TrueCrypt, because the theory there is that he wrote Bitcoin to help bill for his pharmacy websites, but to the best of my knowledge, none of those pharmacy websites ever accepted Bitcoin, so that doesn't make any sense. So I don't think it's a team. I think it's a single guy. So you can do timing analysis on when he posted and language analysis on the way he spelled certain words, and the 2 dots after the period, things like that land you with an older academic in the UK with a day job. Probably who it is. It's all, but who really gives a fuck? Because I think he's dead now because he never moved his money, and living people tend to move their money.
Yeah. Very true.
So, Rich, what are you studying right now? What are you doing with your time? Hex is done, so I know you're done with it. So, what are you doing? What are you looking at? What's got on your mind?
Even though Hex is done, I am very addicted to the ecosystem. So it's like, okay, Uniswap V2 came out. Well, how does that work? Let's understand it, And if you want to build on top of Uniswap V2, right? How do you implement the time weighting, and how could you utilize that flash swap function? So there's still a ton of learning that goes on, and it's like even knowing about those games existing and being able to answer some of these questions, it just seems like there's so much to read about and consume. There's so many things I want to do that I've never had a chance to. Like, I'd like to know these whales that are buying in, how much bigger are their stacks that they haven't deployed yet? How much more are they sitting on? I'd like to know that. And then I'd be curious, like, if people emergency end stake, is there a standard amount of time before their end stake is sellable, and do they insta dump? And is that something that you could time? You're like, oh, emergency end stakes. All right, well, let's sell the price down. Shit like that. Just trader stuff. Like, you're just curious how the market works, Right. Because in a normal market, you don't have a warning before somebody's going to dump. But Hex, you do. Like, if it's the case that when people emergency end stake, they dump, you're like, hey, guess what? You just got a fucking 10-minute head start.
Yep.
And then if you wanted to, you could even build your own application that like rolled that into a single transaction where you could like end stake and sell at the same time in the same transaction to like not let people front run you. There's all this amazing shit that can be built in Hex that doesn't exist yet. I'm still learning. So I invented Hex, and I'm still learning about how it works, because there's all these emergent properties that they're very, very interesting to me. What else? People are messaging me all the time about things they're building. So there's people that just finished the meta transactions that let you send Hex with just Hex and no Ethereum. There's other people that message me talking about how they're doing the Tornado Cash fork that supports Hex. There's other people that message me telling me that they're doing margin trading stuff for Hex. And it's kind of a full-time job to just know what's going on. I mean, it's like there's a lot of shit going on. A lot.
For real. Like, I don't even see probably what you get to see. And it's like, I mean, just the comment section and on the Hex Telegram, and just knowing what's going on and trying to decipher if it's good, if it's bad, if you got these bad actors. I mean, even RG3, we're trying to talk to other people, but yeah, it's a full-time job knowing what's going on in the environment. You wouldn't think that it is, but it really is. Like, you got to know. Yeah. And not only that, but you got to know your stuff. You got to know the share, what shares are, all everything on the layman's guide. Plus, and that's a full-time job. Trying to know everything in that layman's guide. It sounds easy, but man, it's like that's like a college course. They should be a legit college course.
It's particularly hard when you don't know English well, too. So.
There's stuff I'd love to do. Like, I'd like to make a shares video that's like, hey guys, here's a jar of marbles. This is the profit for the shareholders. And here's the jar of marbles that shows who's got shares. And then here's your little jar. And then, your little jar is this percentage of this jar. And so then you get that percentage of this thing. Like, I want, like, it'd be nice to do something like that. Or I'd like to look at these whales and see how much bigger their stacks are. There's so much shit to do. Like the website itself.
What about this, Richard? When, crypto's done a shitty job of advertising to the general public. Obviously Bitcoin doesn't do it. I mean, just by word of mouth. Have you looked into marketing techniques? Like how is crypto going to get its adoption, its real adoption to the general public versus people following in?
The same way the scams did. So there's been very, very, very successful multi-billion-dollar scams that sold people fake cryptocurrency. You do the same shit, but sell them a real cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not an expert on it. I don't know how the Plus token guys got all their fucking users, and I don't know how the Cloud token guys got all their users, and I don't know how these fucking other Ponzi's that are spamming up the goddamn ETH chain, making the fees too high, getting their fucking users. But they're getting them somewhere, and they're getting them somewhere that I can't tell because I don't see their ads. So wherever those fuckers are advertising, it'd be cool if someone put a Hex ad right next to them and beat their ad, because our price performance is better than than theirs. Our security is better than theirs. Our project is done. We should be out competing and shitting on those people where they're getting their users. So I wish someone would fucking let me know, like, hey, where are the ads for those motherfuckers? Where are they getting their users?
Yeah.
Because their users are getting robbed by those scams. Maybe they would prefer something better.
Yeah, I found that like selling Hex or telling people about Hex is a lot easier to people, to no coiners, than it is to actual cryptocurrency people, because they understand like, oh, I get more, and they're not so jaded by cryptocurrencies that they're like, you're just a scam. They actually come into it with an open mind that like you're gonna help them out, and you know, if they somewhat trust you, or you know, yeah. I think that the burning, they got burned so bad in 2017 that you know, on the ICOs, that anything right now is just, that's why you see Ian Bellina, you know, he used to be I don't know about ICO, but he was the shill king for all of these you know, real shit coins. And like now he's a Bitcoin maximalist. It's like
everyone is now, which makes me want to go the other way.
Yeah.
Everyone is a Bitcoin maximalist now.
Me too.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think that means?
Yeah.
It means that they emptied their bags, they emptied their wallets, and they don't have enough dry powder to buy anymore. Yep. And they sold whatever else they had. So whatever they did have, they reduced. They don't have sell pressure to sell anymore. And it's like you look at the ETH BTC chart, and it looks like it could go up. You know, like, yes, it's a faster, superior product that's more secure and has more features. And so in an ideal world, ETH would be more valuable than Bitcoin. And right now it's not. It's 10% the value of Bitcoin. So, you know, there's a chance that Ethereum, the ETH BTC pair, could see a lot of gain, you know, and it hasn't had its futures moment yet because I haven't listed it yet. So it could pump for a CME list like Bitcoin did. So like, you know, there's potential there. Now, guess what? The Hex price and the Ethereum price are related, very tightly related, because the liquidity in Uniswap, that $10 million of liquidity that's sitting there, binds the two together. And so if no one else ever performed a trade, the fact that you could always swap your Hex for Ethereum right there, it makes it so that the prices move together. Now, we've outperformed like 92x or 85x or something over Ethereum in the last 6 months, some window, like 4 of the 6 months or something. But it's good to know. It's like I'd rather have the dominant trading pair for Hex be the ETH pair in this macro environment than the BTC pair, right? Because I think ETH has more potential and is a superior product.
Do you think it would harm the crypto space as a whole if ETH flipped Bitcoin?
No, I don't think it'd be good. You'd have people with faster transactions and more powerful network, better mining ecosystem, more friendly. Hard as that is to believe, they are more friendly. Yeah, I think that would be good for the world. Now you would want to see more ATMs support ETH, because right now they just kind of support Bitcoin. But I mean, really, what percentage of the ecosystem is the ATM? 2%, 1%, you know, pitiful amount. It's got anonymity on it. Yeah, like I think the world would be a better place if ETH flipped Bitcoin. And I think it'd be better still if Hex flipped ETH and Bitcoin. Why not?
Damn straight.
Yeah. It's got superior game theory to both. It's got superior price performance to both. It's got a superior feature set to both. Most of the value in any ecosystem accrues at the endpoints. And so Ethereum to Hex is just a dumb pipe. Yep. All the actual buying and holding that accrues the value happens at the endpoint, which is Hex itself. You know, people that are building all these things on top of Hex, they're not building them on top of ETH. They could, but they're choosing not to. So all those games that you see built on top of HEX, they could have been built on top of ETH, but they didn't. They use HEX as their inputs. And that's interesting to me. I didn't predict that that would happen, but it did. Yeah. You know, I just kind of predicted people would do normal kind of DeFi stuff with HEX as the input. I didn't expect there to be a gaming ecosystem built on top of HEX, but it happened. It's like, fuck, cool. And I didn't know that would happen.
Like,
I had no idea that would happen.
Toucan Air came out, what, a month after we released? It was quick.
Fast.
It was quick, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I had no idea that would happen.
Yeah, it was really quick.
I think people, they don't understand the way that value accrues and stratifies in an ecosystem and an economy. And it usually happens at the endpoints. Your cable company brings Netflix to you, and Netflix is worth more than your cable company. Your internet service provider brings Amazon's website to you, but Amazon is worth more than your internet service provider. Amazon ships packages to you through the post office, but Amazon is worth more than the post office. The value accrues at the end points, not the pipe in the middle, which is why Tether transactions, which are the most common transactions of all on the internet, I think they're a third of all Ethereum transactions. Tether transactions used to run only on the Omni network, which used to run only on Bitcoin. And Tether was a multi-billion-dollar project. Guess how much Omni's worth? $1 million. Does $200 or $300 of volume a day. $300 of volume a day. The price of an expensive dinner of volume a day. So a very valuable thing, Tether, operated on a substrate which derived no value from it whatsoever. So Omni did not benefit from empowering the most commonly used cryptocurrency in quotes in the world. And so that is proof that HEX can operate on top of Ethereum, and HEX can be amazing, and the Ethereum value itself is kind of, doesn't have to pump with HEX. It's good talking to you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Richard, for coming on, man. It's been
thanks for the invite, man.
I just think it was good to see you not having to take a ration of shit.
It's rare. I'm not even used to it.
I think you do really good though, man. I don't know how you keep
fucking saying,
like, I don't know how you keep it together, man, because I would either just exit scam the stream. I'd just be like, dude, F off, man. I don't want to do this. I don't know how
I got your address now, bitch. I'm coming for you.
I can't believe that guy.
I don't think that guy gave his real address at all.
Yeah, he was
I really do not think he gave his real address at all.
No,
I do not think he lives in London at all.
No.
Somebody on Twitter said, hey, I got his address. He only lives 40 minutes away from me.
What a piece of garbage. Like, how are you going to offer to so this is against the terms of service. Offering money to deprive people of their privacy is against the terms of service of almost everything on the internet. Doxing people is not allowed. And so he's offering money to dox, and it's like, what the fuck? You realize it, like, crypto people do get killed. Like, there are crypto rich people that have been fucking like tortured and killed, and there are people that have been swatted and shit. And you're like, why would you think it's okay to do that?
Yeah,
it's not okay to do that. It's the opposite of okay. It's so not okay that it's against the terms of services. Like, but he's so dumb. I'm a certified lawyer. I don't know who certified you, man. Like,
somebody said they looked up all of the lawyers in Israel and in London, and he was not on the bar. So it's like,
there you go. That doesn't surprise me at all, because like, lawyers don't say, like, they don't say libelous and slanderous and defamatory things because they don't want to get fucking served and lose money over the deal.
There was another stream where there was a lawyer who wouldn't show his face, of course, on the stream, and he literally put a bounty out on HEX, and was sick in the SEC on HEX.
Well, so did he.
And told everybody that they can get a bounty by going out and claiming against HEX.
Dude, the SEC already knows that HEX exists.
Of course they do.
And like, let them do their job. You guys spamming them and like wasting their bandwidth is not helping them. Let them go. Do you know how many scammy, shitty things there are in crypto? Let them go fuck those things up. You're wasting their time. Like, It's crazy.
And he was talking at an anonymity. Wasn't it an anonymity kind of
Yes,
conference or
the
something?
conference was called Anon, but he says that Anon doesn't really mean anonymity. And after I searched several different pages of the site, I can't find anything it could mean other than that, because it doesn't mean like Austrian network something. There's no other place on the website that I can find anywhere where there's other reference to what Anon could mean, other than its common definition of anonymous. So
Yeah.
I mean,
And he's part of crypto. That's and if you are pretty, you're part of the crypto space. That's exactly what it means. I don't know. Where he's.
Whether the thing is named anonymous or Austrian network operators niceness or something, who the fuck knows? That's not the part that matters. The part that matters is like, if you're gonna do your research, you better be right. How can you do your research and not read the white paper? How can you do your research and not read the disclaimer? How can you do your research and not know the difference between one level and multi-level? Like how you cannot.
Yeah, he didn't even know what that was. He didn't even know that. He didn't realize that.
And then
I don't know if he didn't know if Hex was not a multi-level, or if he just didn't know what a multi-level was.
Imagine being so prepared for getting your ass demolished verbally that you put on safety goggles and you're like, we're not going to talk about anything else in the industry. So no analogies, no industry standards. We're just
no other
coins. Okay, we're not going to talk about other coins.
Oh, that was great. And then he talks about the Ethereum. He just talks about Ethereum.
Right.
What about
and then I call him stupid, and he's like, no cursing. I'm like, calling you stupid is not cursing. You're stupid. Like, cryptocurrencies were designed to move value.
It was totally scripted. He had no real comebacks. Everything was scripted. He was, strong and wrong.
And then you just demolished him as he just like looked into, he had the 1,000-yard stare at the last.
Yeah, I think at the end, he might have actually started to understand that he was wrong. Is the funny part. He's like,
maybe.
Shit, this thing sounds pretty good.
How do I sign my Bitcoin? I need to claim.
What was that link again?
That's hilarious.
Send him a rough link.
Hey, everybody watching, listen. Hex is doing a 24-hour fucking stream here. Click his rough link. Show him some love.
Hell yeah.
Press like. Press subscribe. He works hard as hell, and he doesn't waste his money. He's a family man. Hook him up. It was really good talking to you guys.
Thank you.
I watch your content. I watch all of your guys' content, except FundingGym, because I think this is the first content he's made.
It's been a while.
He does message me.
We'll have him on now.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you, man.
All right,
take
brother.
care, man.
We'll see you, man. Hey, so Ministry of Hex, was it Ministry of Hex that said that? Where is it at? There was a
VZ Reality gave us 10 great stream, boys. Thanks, Hexo, RH, and crew. Thank you, VZ Reality, for the $10.
Who was bagging on my gogs? Where are they at?
Oh, dude. Where they at? I'm coming at them.
Please, can you call RG3 out on his sunglasses indoors? Star code.
Here it is.
So check this out. Check this out. These are fucking spectacles. I need them to see.
Angry tonight. Spectacles. Yeah.
These are my spectacles.
Oh, it's FundingGym looking sleepy. Yeah, it was. We've been up for a long time. It's late.
I've got 1 hour work, so
I'm gonna
geez. Crash.
All right. Well,
can you guys hear?
We can hear you. Hey, take care at the FundingGym. It was nice seeing you, man.
Yeah, I'll see you again. Anytime you're doing a stream, I'll try and pop on.
Good talking to you, brother.
Right. Yeah, take care, FundingGym.
Take care.
Let's see. Get me on stream. Oh, Ministry of Hex. You want to get on stream? Sorry, guys. I haven't been.
Is he there?
Ministry of Hex. Oh, shit. Dude,